What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of TeamB Presents. I'm Bullet B, joined by my co-host,
Bill Mack.
What's
How's
up?
it going? Not too much, man. Had a pretty good night so far. Trying to battle the rain. We got a little bit of rain all day, dude. It's kind of made it kind of a slow day, It's just the rain dragging on. It's just been one of them days, How about you, man?
I just been chilling, man. Just chilling out. Just got back from the store. I was out of some coffee and little things like that. So been making well, I just got back from vacation, and everybody's my characters have been working on my YouTube show for me, my roster. So we're getting that done, getting some more episodes done and things like that, because I haven't done a BYS show in a couple of months now. So I just need a break and need to think of some new ideas and things like that. That's all. Freshen it up, son. Come back swinging like right. Now, we ain't done a TeamB Presents in a couple of months either, so we're about to come back swinging, man, because we just need to take a break, regroup, refresh, rethink, and so on.
That's right, man. Got to swing for the fences.
So tonight, boys and girls, we're going to talk about the Survivor Series this Sunday live on the WWE Network for what? $9.99. And we're going to give you, just our predictions or whatever. But, Raw hasn't been doing too good lately in the ratings, and it's kind of hard to pay attention to it. But here's, wait, you probably want to go match by match. But as far as the finals go, I just see Reigns and Ambrose. That's all I see. And that makes Raw kind of boring, I like to see how they get there, but you already know what's going to happen. It's just, I don't know. Raw was just terrible Monday night because the main event was a contract signing with the Divas, correct? I'm like, What the fuck, man? Paige come out there smoking now. I like her new heel get up now. It's like, woo, But that's about it. Just put me to sleep, man. I'll tell you the high and low points of Raw for me. The high points was when it went off the air. The low points is when it started.
Same here, man. It was a very yawner of another Raw again, man. And they keep losing more viewers. They did statistics of Raw from the UK because that's where they were at. It was a Raw taping. So they did statistics where last year, around the same week, Monday of last year in the UK, their tapings done 3.9 million viewers. This year, it's gone down to a 3.1. Almost a million users less within that year's time, man. Raw has really gone down, and they better do something quick. I mean, with losing so many of their stars here lately, with Rollins going out, Cena doing that military show, and Daniel Bryan's still not cleared to come back. Randy Orton's having surgery too. Or if not, he's already had surgery. And he's going to be out. Everybody's going to be out for a while, man. I mean, these guys, creative, not to me. It's not the guys. Creative has really got to step up and give some compelling storylines, because I hold them highly responsible enough to do that. You've got the guys to do it. You just got to get the storylines good for them to be able to be wanted and accepted, where when these guys come back, it can just fall right in the flow of it. You just don't want it going down below a 3. But I agree with you.
I don't know, man. I think they're really pushing it sometimes, because it seems like they would, improve the storylines by now, and they got a good roster, man, and come up with some creative storylines and not make it so predictable. It's like Vince McMahon's doing the show the same formula week to week, despite us or something. I don't get it. Is he asking for the ratings to go down? I'm like, I watch Raw on Hulu. I'm like, this is probably going to be a good Raw leading into Survivor Series. And with the ratings going down, it's got to go up. They got to do better. I'm like, they're not even trying, man. It's just like a comfort zone Raw. Just the same old form, same old crap. Now, the wrestling is good on Raw. I'll give them that. The wrestling is pretty good. Like Aaron Riff would say, he's always talking about, the wrestling is pretty good on Raw, and Solid Monster too. Yeah, the matches are good, but a lot of times it's a fuck finish, or the outcomes are predictable and whatnot. I really like seeing, Kevin Owens and Cesaro. That was a good match, but I knew Kevin Owens was going to go over on Cesaro because they won't give Cesaro a chance. Yeah. I like both of them, but you know what I'm saying, things like that.
I did.
I just could not believe the main event of Raw was a contract signing with the Divas. Now, if the Diva division was red hot, I can understand. You know,
I understand if they're wanting to try to make the Divas an integral part of the main event. I mean, if they were to give them the good stuff, let them wrestle. Just let them go and wrestle, because Nikki Bella's not there to hold them back. Their argument for weeks has been, well, everybody's got to slow down to Nikki Bella. That's true, but right now she's not there. Why can't you just let these girls go at it? And I agree with you, but you look at where they were placed. The best night match of the night with me was Reigns versus Cesaro when they fought each other. And it was, to go into those, like you said, the semis, you kind of knew Roman was going to go, but you were kind of hoping in a bit there was Cesaro, because Cesaro carried that match. Man, I watched that match. To me,
that's right. Yeah, my mistake. It was Roman and Cesaro. But who did Kevin Owens fought somebody?
Kevin fought. He's fighting.
That shows me how much I was paying attention Monday. But
yeah,
Cesaro. I remember now, Cesaro had Roman Reigns in the swing. He put him in the sharpshooter. It was funny, man. Roman's hair all over the place.
But he carried that match, dude. That was, to me, the best match of the whole show. And I was really didn't like the finish. It's not just as much as with the Divas being the contract, which I agree. I can understand it being a title, but like you said, dude, this is the go-home show before Survivor Series. This is the big show leading up, but it really just fell flat because what? You've got 2 semifinal matches. The card isn't really that big. I think there's no more than 6 matches from what I looked at, and looking back on Raw and I think the worst, and I'm already calling it, The Undertaker and Kane versus whoever the Wyatt family, because they totally destroyed all 4 Wyatt family. How are you going to do that? And because there's no traditional 5x5, but they did make a 5x5, but it's not going to be what we were hoping it to be. So it was just disgusting. But I think the low point was when Paige had mentioned that about Charlotte's brother. And even though Charlotte said it was okay with it, Rick was not happy, and his wife or ex-wife wasn't happy about that either. I just think that you can use things to get a cheap pop, but I feel like that's not the way to go with it. I mean, what did you get a chance to see that promo at the end of the contract signing?
Yeah, I saw it. I heard Paige talk about Rick's father. I didn't hear nothing about Charlotte's brother. I didn't hear that part. I must have missed that part. I wasn't really paying that much attention.
Well, what
the end, I was just it's painful to watch sometimes, but I have to go back and check that out. I didn't know it was a segment like that.
Yeah, it was. Or what they did was, her brother died. I think it was last year, over on an overdose of heroin. And what Charlotte was doing was saying, well, I was here for my brother. I'm here for my brother. That's why I'm in the business right now. That's why I'm where I am. I've had some people support me. And then, and she said she was fighting for those people. And Charlotte says, well, it looks like your brother didn't have enough fight in him, did he? And then
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then Charlotte just lit, dude. I don't know if it was she reacted real, but it kind of looked real for her because it wasn't like your normal diva grabbing the hair kind of thing. It looked real, but she looked pissed, man. I'm telling you, she really did. If that was fake,
the places WWE will go sometimes, man.
Yeah,
that's just sick. You remember back in the day when Big Boss Man was feuding with the Big Show, Paul White, and Big Boss Man was at Big Show's funeral. That's your daddy. That's your daddy. And he was pulling his casket.
Yeah,
that was wrong and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, didn't the Big Show jump on top of the casket?
Hey, Big Show, I'm coming to get your daddy. Funny, man.
Did he jump on the casket when he was pulling it away with the chain?
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. But it was, man. I just think it was done. I just think that was done in poor taste, though. But you're right, dude. The main event is going to be is going to be because I was like, there's no way they're going to make the contract signing the last thing, you know. But I mean, I'm hoping the pay per view is going to be good, man. I want to see that heel turn. That's if we don't get that dude, I'm going to feel disappointed in it if it doesn't happen then.
Now the pay-per-views, the actual wrestling's been pretty good the past few months. I mean, from what I hear from the reviews, you know, the pay-per-views have been pretty good. The wrestling, if nothing else. So I think Survivor Series will be a very good show as far as wrestling and things like that goes. Hopefully there's some swerves in it, you know, not just a regular pay-per-view like an episode of Raw, but yeah, I think Roman or Dean's got to turn. I hope it ain't going to eventually turn into a babyface versus babyface feud. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see Roman Reigns turn heel. He should have done what Seth Rollins done, turn heel after WrestleMania, and then he could have been a stronger babyface now. You got to be a heel first, then you can be a stronger babyface.
Right.
You know, Rocky Maivia. We always go back to that, but that's so true. Nobody cared about him. And when he turned heel for a year or however long it was, and then he turned face, everybody respect him. Same thing with Triple H. When Triple H defeated Steve Austin in a 2 out of 3 Hell in a Cell match, or whatever it was, Triple H, that respect, because Triple H was a heel in that match. Right. And then the next night he got cheered or whatever. It turned him into a babyface. People respected him. That's how you build a babyface, WWE. They're trying to rush it, force it, and it's not going to work. They're just wasting time. They're wasting time. So they got to turn Roman Reigns heel because they already got a hot baby face in Seth Rollins when he comes back.
Right.
You know? And plus they got Super Cena. Super Cena's going to come back. So let him be the baby face and, you know, let Roman Reigns be the heel. I mean, do it that way for a good while. And Roman and Cena could have a good 3-month feud right there.
Yeah.
You know.
I hope it does, man. I mean, and
we all want the hold on, I'll let you stop. We all want the John Cena heel turn, but you know, that ain't gonna happen. You know, all the Make-A-Wish stuff and all that. But I would do it for WrestleMania and then turn them right back babyface. You know, have them come out there with okay. This is what you do. Cena lost to Alberto Del Rio clean. Okay, Cena comes back. He loses another match clean. Then he says, "Oh, I just ain't got it no more. I ain't got it no more." Then he goes to Authority as insurance to win the title back. You know, kind of like what Steve Austin did in 2001 when he had that heel turn with The Rock. He said, "I just joined up with Vince to make sure I win the title back." You know, Cena could do something similar to that. Like, well, I lost to Alberto. I keep losing matches. I just need some insurance. You know, that's how you could turn him heel. You know?
He's had times, you know, over the years that they could have done. You remember back when Edge come back on Raw and he was talking to Cena and trying to pump him up and tell him that he was afraid that wasn't the John Cena he's typically seeing and stuff. I mean, you had time. John Cena, Vince will never turn him heel. And I fully believe that Vince will never turn Cena heel at all. I just feel like as long as he's got the kids and the females, that's the target demographic he's looking for. That's who they're going after because they know the guys aren't going to vote for him. That's why you got guys cheering for Kevin Owens and any other ones, you know, to come in. I just don't see that happening, you know. But I'm like you, man. I'm hoping that Reigns will turn more of a heel, but I'll get more into that when we get to it because I don't want to waste it all before I can get my thoughts before we get up to it. So if you want to, we'll go ahead and jump right on into the matches here. There's only 6 matches, so you know it'll pretty.
WWE, it's just a mid card division. All they got is mid cards.
Yeah.
Besides John Cena, maybe Roman, but it's It's a good mid card. It's the best mid card in years. It's good to see a mid card without the familiar Chris Jericho's and people like that. You know, a new generation. You know? But it's just a mid card division. You know, in my opinion,
with no jobbers.
Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, they're mid-card talent to me, but a good mid-card talent. You know,
because they don't want them to be jobbers. You don't see that's the thing I noticed with WWE and WCW back in the day. WCW had a lot of matches to where they had those jobbers. They had the real bad guy, the heel against the jobber, and you know who was going to win. I mean, you know that was just part of it. Then that was part of the environment.
They need to, in my opinion, they need to bring back jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
when I listen to Jim Ross podcast, he's always saying bring back jobbers because a heel like Seth Rollins, he's always got to cheat to win, you know. But back in the jobber days, Seth Rollins can go out there and dominate a jobber to make him look like a strong heel. That way he ain't got to cheat all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how they used to do it. Right. Heels didn't lose. Heels didn't cheat to win all the time. They would build up by defeating jobbers. Then they'll cheat to win when they're fighting a main eventer. You know, I definitely agree with that. But Mark Henry, he's a chocolate jobber nowadays, and they got.
But he's still. But you think about it, dude. WWE even back then, and knowing what I did about then, that even their low card guys to mid card guys were still got pushed in their own way to their abilities. There just was no, to me. Now maybe you can attest more to that. I mean, you're more of a WWE guy than I am, but I just felt like even their mid card guys even were pushed to some point, but there was just no jobbers, real jobbers. I mean, that as far as over a period of time, I just don't. I mean, were there? I mean, because I don't feel as in what I've known and watched them back when I was younger, they really didn't have jobbers as much and on a consistency as they did. They've always tried, even the low card guys have tried to push them high. You just never really had that jobber type. I mean, was that the case? I mean, or was there just jobbers? I just really didn't know.
Oh, dude, Monday Night Raw in the early 90s was jobber matches, and then you have a main event, you know.
Right, but did WWE have that?
A good example. I remember WCW Saturday Night. They would have a lot of jobber matches. I remember Paul Levesque on WCW, part of the Blue Blood. He'd come out there and defeat some jobbers. But on Raw, it was mostly jobbers. They might open up with a regular match with superstar versus superstar, and then it was jobbers like Evil Doink would come out there and beat Brooklyn Brawler or something. But the genius was in '94. They had, or it might have, what was it, 93, they had 1, 2, 3 Kid come out there, the Kid, and he was a jobber, and they set him up like a jobber, and he defeated Razor Ramon, and that's how he got, we all know that story, that's how he got over, but he was a jobber for weeks. He would lose and lose every week, and he came out there and fought Razor Ramon, and everybody's like, oh, it's just a throwaway match, blah, blah, blah. The next thing you know, 1, 2, 3 Kid does a moonsault, pins the motherfucker, and the way Razor sold it was incredible, because Razor got up, he's like, what? Whoa, and the 1, 2, 3 Kids like 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. That was his theme. He said 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, and he ran out the ring because that was believable. He ran away from Razor. Razor was chasing him for weeks, man. Every time on Raw, Razor Ramon come out there, he'd be like, hey, yo, where the Kid at? Where the Kid? And the Kid would run away from him and shit because he got the upset victory. That was a good little storyline there. But yeah, they always had jobbers. Well, Bob Backlund and Bret Hart had that awesome feud in '94 that Solid Monster was talking about. I even went back and watched it, man, because I was a big fan of that feud. Because even as a kid, I saw the talent in Bob Backlund. I never thought he was boring. I thought of him like an Arn Anderson type, just a good, worker type, technical wrestler. And that was incredible when him and Bret Hart had that first match, they were babyface, and Bob Backlund lost. And then he snapped. He was like, he just snapped. He put the chicken wing on the ref and everybody, and things like that. And he'd go there and beat up the 1, 2, 3 Kid just for the hell of it. But yeah, but Bob Backlund, he would have a bunch of jobber matches after that. Yeah. Because Vince McMahon would say, here comes Bob Backlund, Mr. Backlund. He's kind of lost his mind nowadays. And he have a jobber match, and he'd just be like, he'd do like that. And then he'll do the chicken wing and make him tap out just like that. And then he had another match with Bret, WrestleMania 11. That match weren't no good. I agree with Solid Monster there. But then they had one at Survivor Series with where Bret's family was out there. I forgot about that match. It was an I Quit match, I believe. I forgot all about it. And but I remember watching it now. I mean, I watched it back then, but I forgot about it. Man, that was a good match, dude. I'll give anything for WWE to go back to wrestling first. Yeah. Even though the wrestling's good now, but you can tell it was just more sporty back then, more wrestling based back then. And you don't have no Bob Backlund, Bret Hart matches anymore. Sometimes, I mean, you could. I mean, they could bring back Kurt Angle, have him fight some younger guys. That'd be awesome. Don't put him in there with Rusev. I mean, you could, but Put him in there with a Seth Rollins when he comes back. That would be an awesome match. Put him in there with a, not Sin Cara, but the Sin Cara midget. Put him in there with, yeah, Kalisto. Something like that. Kurt Angle will be like, shoo, shoo, just throw him around and shit, bouncy ball. It'd be funny, man. Pinball machine. But yeah, let's get to the Survivor Series card.
All right. We'll start from the bottom up. We'll I'll just do them in random, from least to greatest to me. Okay, first matchup is a singles match, and it's the storyline is built up over the past 2 or 3 weeks with NXT call up. You know, he not really a big name in NXT. He's more of a mid card guy there, but he's getting his chance now. Tyler Breeze, you know, he's kind of aligned himself now with Summer Rae, and you know, and they're doing their selfie thing as they've been doing. But he's going to take on which would be Dolph Ziggler, and in this matchup. So we kind of know that Summer Rae and Dolph have had sort of a kind of a history on their own selves. So last few weeks has kind of been a back and forth thing with them, especially in the you know, in the during the pay-per-view. I mean, during the tournament too. So Tyler Breeze, I think you know, he's not really that good in my opinion. He's not really that big time, but I'm looking at this. My opinion. I'm looking for Ziggler to pull this one out. What do you think?
Oh, I think Tyler Breeze is going to win that just because he's new. They're not going to have him. You know, Dolph Ziggler is pretty much gone, man. He's a jobber, in my opinion. When's the last time Dolph Ziggler won that big match last year at Survivor Series for to get the authority terminated, and then they were back 3 weeks later. But Dolph Ziggler, man, he just keeps going down and down. But Tyler Breeze, people make the comparison to him and Dolph Ziggler, but he reminds me of the 1992 Shawn Michaels. That's who he reminds me of, because Shawn Michaels came out there with that cockiness, and he had Sherry Martel with him in '92. You know, that's who he reminds me of, because Shawn Michaels was pretty much a mid-card guy. I thought he wouldn't go nowhere, and then he turned into, you know, a main eventer eventually. But he was a good mid-carder. But I ain't really comparing Tyler Breeze to HBK as far as you know, wrestling ability and stuff like that. But I think Tyler Breeze is a good talent, but he might end up being just another Dolph Ziggler clone. They used to compare Dolph Ziggler to Shawn Michaels. They said Dolph Ziggler's like the modern day Shawn Michaels. He would fit good in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Ziggler would fit good in the 90s. Like Big Daddy Cool Diesel year 95, Ziggler would fit pretty good. Let me see. Yeah, because they would make Ziggler comparisons to HBK and Mr. Perfect, you know. And I always thought that he was kind of like a Mr. Perfect, you know. But he's not really Ziggler's just good at selling, whereas Mr. Perfect was a very technical wrestler and good at selling too. But I think Ziggler's just a good bumper, if that makes any sense. But yeah. Tyler Breeze, yeah. When they made the comparison to Dolph Ziggler, yeah, he just looks like Dolph Ziggler's shadow, or like the WCW version of Dolph Ziggler, or something like that. That's what Tyler Breeze is like. You know, that's the only comparison I could think of. But yeah, if they book him like that, he ain't gonna go nowhere. You know, and Wrestling Soup was saying that he's not the same Tyler Breeze that he was on NXT. He's kind of like a shallow of what he was. And they got Summer Rae, the woman that has a face like a foot. They got her with Tyler Breeze, so they're setting him up for failure. But I think Tyler Breeze will win just because he's new to the roster, and Ziggler don't mind putting people over. He said that in interviews. He said, "Well, I'll put everybody over. I don't mind doing business, but people will look back and say Ziggler was the man." You know, that's what Ziggler said. He's like, you know, he was the one that did all the work in the match. It's kind of like how we look at the Brooklyn Brawler now. He never won a match in his life, but, you know, he was a good worker, you know. Yeah. That's what Ziggler, he's like the Brooklyn Brawler. That's what Ziggler, yeah.
I agree. I agree with you as far as the Ziggler, the discussion and your relation. I feel like Ziggler could have been so much more. I just feel like
I agree.
His pushes, dude, started and stopped. There was no consistency, and then he got hurt. To me, getting injured, he's one of those injury type prone guys, kind of like Wade Barrett. You know, gets hurt. Kind of like Daniel Bryan, he gets hurt. And you just, when you get hurt so often, RVD even, you get hurt so often, it starts and stops your push. How do you think Randy Orton hasn't been champion as much as he could have. But he kept getting hurt, and Randy being injury prone, I think Ziggler falls into that. To me, I was one of those people that said I felt like I could see a little bit of Ziggler as in a young Shawn Michaels. But it's just that he had the flair. He's a flamboyant guy like Jericho was when Jericho first came into WWE. But I just feel like between his injuries and then the storyline with Lana, it dropped him out. It's kind of like when Axel and Sandow was doing the Mega Powers, and then all that stuff come out with Hogan, and then he no longer is ripping the shirt, and he don't have a gimmick now. And then you look now, Ziggler, he's lost the thing with Lana. They're not doing a gimmick with him now. So there you go with the stuff. It's just, to me, it's just not going to,
Ziggler, Wade Barrett, they're too damaged to be pushed again, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, if you put the title on Ziggler, I don't think nobody would take him seriously. Wade Barrett, man, that's a shame what happened to Wade Barrett. But he's so far damaged now, I don't see him doing anything. I saw, what's his name again? Kalisto? I saw him pin Wade Barrett in a tag match against what they're called, the European Exchange or something like that.
Yeah.
He pinned Wade Barrett. Of course, Wade Barrett's going to take the loss, not Sheamus, because they're pushing Sheamus right now with the Money in the Bank. So of course Wade Barrett's going to take the pinfall. But I was just like, wow, because Wade Barrett, he looks like a superstar from the ground, like they used to say about Randy Orton. Yeah. He's a superstar from the ground up. He's got the looks and he's got the ability and he's athletic. Wade Barrett's like that.
Right.
He looks like a WWE produced product. I don't get that. Just no connection. Now he had the highest Barrett was with the crowd was when he was Bad News Barrett. Right. People like that. People got behind Bad News Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
Why they stopped that? I don't get it.
Vince stopped it because he noticed people were starting to chant along with him, and he didn't want people chanting along with Wade Barrett. So
this is what it was. They should have turned him babyface, and he could have been like not a tweener, but kind of the anti-hero like Austin was. Wade Barrett can come out there and still have the same promos. I got some bad news, but he'd be saying it towards the villains, the heels. Austin, when Austin got cheered, Austin was a heel, and then they turned him babyface, but he kept the same personality. So
yeah, but see,
Wade Barrett, if you're getting over with the crowd, go ahead and change them.
But you don't always have to.
All the time. Okay, what's better, Wade Barrett with no momentum, right? Present day Barrett with no momentum, or the Bad News Barrett getting cheered? Which is better? I mean, I think he could,
Yeah, I respect that and I understand it, but my feeling, my opinion is that if Barrett ought to do what New Day is doing now. People are trying to like New Day, but right when New Day starts getting cheered, they blow off the crowd and pisses them off. That's what. Yeah. In my opinion,
when they were in Brooklyn, they were cheering New Day. That's when they came out with a Sinatra song, which is really, I got it in my favorites. And Big E said, "You can't cheer us. Y'all are Brooklyn's booty." I can't say it. I can't articulate the way Big E said, but he said, "You guys suck. You're nothing but Brooklyn's booty." Funny, man.
But that's what I'm saying. If Barrett, they'd have started cheering Barrett. All that had to do.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. He could have said things to make
right to get more heat on him.
But do you agree that Bad News Barrett as a babyface would have been kind of cool? Kind of like when Brian Pillman turned babyface, they kept him crazy like that. But do you agree that? Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I could understand if they were to keep. That same gimmick, if they decide to do a babyface, but it all falls down to where it usually does do, and that's the creative team. Your creative team, they're shit. They're just shit. They can't keep anything going good for so long. I mean, it's like you mentioned.
One more thing about Barrett before I forget. All they had to do was turn Bad News Barrett babyface and call him Good News Barrett. I got some good news for you. That's all they had to do. So go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you, man, but I had to get that phone out before I forget it, man. That was just funny, man.
No,
I got some good news.
Yeah, let's see how long. You know, it was working. He's insulting the crowd, yet people are still cheering him. That's because the fans were starting to connect with it. Like you said, it's all about connection. Like you said with Cesaro. You know, Cesaro doesn't connect with the crowd, but he has good crowd appeal. People like Cesaro, where he could get a push. WWE is wanting to do what they want to do, no matter what the crowd wants to do, and the crowd is showing that. You look at the way that, like you said, and I'm just touch on it. Like with Roman Reigns, WWE want him to be the man. The fans don't want that. The fans want Ambrose to. They're cheering Ambrose, and Vince is trying to keep Ambrose down. So they're not connecting with their own audience. The creative's not. Vince is not doing that. So I mean, to me, and it just circles back around to Ziggler. It's all about creative, man, and dropping the ball with the Lana thing. They've not put him back at anything. How long has that been now? About a month since Lana and Rusev did that whole thing, a month or so.
And they could have made WWE was mad at Rusev, but they could have took advantage of that and made Rusev the hottest babyface in the company, because everybody would have cheered Rusev because he's engaged and everybody knew about it. They should have turned him babyface. Back in the Attitude Era, they listened to the crowd, and the crowd dictate who was heel and babyface. And they're not doing that now because they already got the storyline written. They already got the book written out, and it's their way or the highway.
Exactly.
Roman Reigns would be the top babyface of this year, for example, and all this stuff. They already got it written out, and the crowd's just going to have to like it. That's their mentality.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Back in the day when they were losing in WCW, they listened to the crowd. You know, Mick Foley winning the title, and you know, because he went from Mankind, a very vicious heel feuding with the Undertaker, to the friendly Mick Foley. Have a nice day. They listen, you know, and they're holding talent back. They write these storylines out, and they're trying to force it rather than adapt. They're not adapting with the crowd anymore.
There's no WCW. That's why.
That's true.
There's nothing forcing. There's no competition. Here, TNA, and in case you ain't heard the news about TNA signing on to a cable company, you know, that's the only competition. See, I'm quoting that competition that they even have. They don't feel threatened to do any better. They had to when WCW was there, or they won't put them out of business. They had to do it. They don't feel that sense of urgency because they feel like, hey, we're the only big dogs on the porch, you know, so we don't have to do anything. You still suck. That's why
I'm surprised with the low ratings that they wouldn't jump up and do something, do a swerve, you know, have some surprises, you know, do some random stuff, at least try, you know.
Right.
You know, like that Aaron Riff video where he's talking about how to improve the Raw ratings. He's like, just make it random. Just try something. Do something shocking where, like, Roman Reigns suddenly turns heel, for example. Somebody gets beat up backstage, or keep it interesting, because that's how it was in the Attitude Era. There was always something going on. Oh, wait, JR be like, oh, wait, we got to go backstage. Something's going on. You know, there was always something. Where it was Kane running over Big Show with a golf cart. There was always, or dragging the Hurricane around on a golf cart. Something. There was always something going on. You know, you feel like nothing's happening. It's very bland, you know. But yeah. So let's move on to.
All right. Next match we're coming up with is of course the Divas match between Paige, who is the Divas champion, taking on Paige. This feud has been going on for quite a while now.
Who's the champion? You said Paige.
Charlotte's the champion.
Right.
Paige is challenging her for the title.
This is their first match, right? First title match?
Yeah, first title match that she has defended because Paige won the...
Yeah. There's going to be a rematch. There'll be a rubber match probably. You know.
It depends on how this one ends. I don't know if what their plans are, because whether they want to give it to Charlotte. I think, here's my opinion on it. I think that Paige should keep it, should win it. Paige is a stronger champion than Charlotte is. I still feel like Charlotte doesn't connect with the crowd enough to draw. Paige is still their top draw with female. I mean, other than the Bellas, I think Paige is a big hit. And it's like you mentioned earlier, where her new attire, wearing that, like t-shirt type top rather than those tight leather ones. It brings her more sexual, even though she's you know, she's not just that anti-diva that they made her out to be, but she's getting more sexy and that kind of look. And they went from that tight leather to her wearing like that t-shirt with the cleavage showing and stuff, which you know, I'm not complaining about. That's a good thing. But
she's only going to get better in time because she's only 21, 22. Wait till she gets 25 and the age and the detail in her face comes out. When she starts looking more mature in the face, she's the type that's going to look better as time progresses, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, because 25 is not old at all. 30 is not old. Just wait till she gets a little bit older and her face gets a little bit more matured and her body gets a little bit more matured. You know what I'm saying? She's going, you know what I'm saying? Sasha Banks, too. Oh, man, Sasha's going to look like that forever anyway. You know,
they're looking at Sasha to get it down the line. I'm looking for her to get that Divas title.
Yeah, I think they're just saving because everybody's like, we want Sasha. I think they're saving Sasha for down the road, like you said. Yeah. And they're keeping the we want Sasha chants out there on purpose, anticipation. You know?
Right, exactly. But it's you know, Charlotte, I think Charlotte, she's not out there. I think what she needs, man, is more exposure. And because you've had Paige out there so much, people got used to her. They know her. They cheer. They like her. Charlotte just has not. She's not winning that crowd over, man. She tried because I mean, I think she done a really good job with her promo. You know, on Monday night against Paige. I think the promo was really good. It was a heart to heart. Even though it was about her family, I think she done a good job. All she needs to do is be able to get out there and be more open, get more interacting with the crowd.
Yeah.
Make some connection with her because they're not cheering. You don't have to be a beauty queen to get the crowd behind you, but you've got to connect somehow with them, you know. But in as far as my choice, I'm pulling out for Paige to win the title. And I don't think it won't be a clean finish. So I think
you're right. The Divas division is like that. How do you she'll win the title, and then Charlotte will want a rematch, which will set up the next pay-per-view match between them. That's true. You remember back in the day, the Intercontinental Champion got pinned every week. How do you get an Intercontinental title match? You just pin the champion. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I just they invest more in it and make it more interesting. People will cheer more. Next up is I will do this. I'll split these down in half, so we want to go back to back. We're going to do one of the WWE semifinal matches for the World Heavyweight title, vacated by Seth Rollins due to his injury. He's tearing his ACL, MCL, medial meniscus. He's going to be out for a while. So this is one.
Everything in his knees fucked up, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's bad. But the first match we'll throw out there is going to be one you and I are probably going to be looking forward to. Is Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose is our first semifinals match.
That's going to be a good match, but we already know the outcome, man.
Yeah, but I just feel like Kevin Owens.
There's a swerve. If there's no Roman Reigns heel turn, Kevin Owens could easily win that match, and it'd be Owens and Reigns in the finals.
That's true.
If they're not going to turn Roman Reigns, so if Kevin Owens wins, we already know that there ain't going to be no heel turn up, or it might be a swerve. You never know. That's what makes it fun. The unknown.
And that's Owens. See, you know me, dude. I'm a big Owens fan. I mean, this dude is so cool, man. Even on Twitter, did you read where he blocked Melissa Joan Hart from Sabrina the Teenage Witch? He blocked her Monday because she told me.
I read the tweet by Kevin Owens where a fan tweeted him and said, "Kevin Owens, you're boring." And
that was her.
No, this was another fan.
No, this was her.
Hold on, let me finish. He said, "You're boring. You need to shut up." Blah blah blah. Kevin Owens retweeted and said, "Dude, you got like 2 followers."
Mm-hmm.
You know? This was a couple of weeks back.
Oh yeah, that's a different. I mean, the one Melissa Joan Hart blocking him blocking him, or he blocking her
Wow.
Monday night. They were going back and forth, and I don't know if this is some media stunt to for her, but that was what it's going to be. But me, Kevin Owens don't back down, man. On Twitter, he's like the man on Twitter. He'll talk smack to you and don't care.
Yeah, he's witty, man. He's always got a clever comeback.
He's like if he's the type of person that if you Twitter him a picture of your baby, he'd tell you how ugly your baby looks. That's just the way Owens is, man. That's what I like about him.
He's a heel to a T, man.
Yeah, and Ambrose.
Yeah, he's a Canadian, and he's a big Owen Hart fan. That's why he took the name Owens and put on his real name's not Kevin Owens. It's Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen. And, he was a big Owen Hart fan, and that says a lot because that means he's probably going to be good in the ring. He cares about the right things in the ring. So he plays a heel to a T, man.
And he can wrestle, dude. He's a big guy, but the man can wrestle. I mean, he wrestled with John Cena. He's wrestled with Cesaro, and those are two strong guys.
He studied the greats, man. He's from that Hart Foundation or a fan of the Hart Foundation. That's some of the greatest in the world, man. So, he studied the right one. Maybe John Cena should watch a Bret Hart DVD sometime.
Right. He is, man, and he's going against Dean Ambrose, which is one of my favorites too as a face. I would love to see him one day be champion. And this is a tidbit. I don't know if you've read it today, but they said there's possibly a chance that there have been plans lately within the last 2 or 3 days of possibly Dean Ambrose walking out as WWE champion. All along we've been reading about Roman Reigns being the champion, but I seen today or read a few minutes before you and I got on here that there's a possibility that Dean could walk out as champion, but it's just left up to Vince, which Vince is going to do what Vince wants, and who Vince is behind.
I can see that.
Fans want Dean though.
Yeah, like Dean Ambrose wins the title Sunday, and then Roman Reigns goes ape shit. He beats the shit out of Dean Ambrose for kind of like how when Diesel lost the title to Bret Hart, and they shook hands, and then Diesel just snapped. He just jackknifed Bret Hart several times. I could see Roman Reigns doing that to Dean Ambrose if Dean Ambrose wins the title. Then it'll set up a feud between them. Because they could give the title to Ambrose as long as he's feuding with a heel Roman Reigns, because you still got that strong heel main eventer type guy.
It would be very easy to turn and not get too much. It'd be very easy to turn Roman heel. To me, I think if Ambrose was to win somehow, which you and I've kind of will get in our discussion about our finals picks, which we mentioned earlier, but we'll get back into them as we get down to that final match. It would be good to have him if that was the case. Roman, to me, I wouldn't want him to turn heel at the pay-per-view. I want him to turn heel on Raw. Start it from the very beginning. Let it build in all the way through Raw of it happening. Don't wait till the underdog.
Raw needs the ratings. They got plenty of WWE Network subscribers. So do the swerves on Raw.
Well, didn't they do that with Rollins? Didn't Rollins turn on the sheet on Raw?
That was a good segment because he took that chair and he started beating them and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he joined up with Triple H. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. That's what they need, man. But that to me, I'm picking, and my choice is, I would love for Owens to win, which I like both of these guys. These are both of one of the guys I like. But logically, I'm in your boat. I'm thinking Dean Ambrose is going to pull this one out and reach the finals for the heavyweight title. What about you?
I agree. Logically, Ambrose is going to win, but really, in theory, I like for Kevin Owens to win. Yeah. I like for Kevin Owens to be the top heel in the company, man. They got something there with him.
Right.
He's a good talent, man. Dean Ambrose is cool, but he's not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The current roster, he's in my top 10 maybe. He'd be like number 9, number 10. I like Dean Ambrose. I just feel like, he's just a little too PG. Like I wish he was more like Brian Pillman. He's like the PG version of Brian Pillman. Now, like I said, I like Dean Ambrose, but I like Kevin. Kevin Owens more my type. You know,
The thing about Kevin is Kevin can be mean in a PG way. He
yeah,
don't he don't got to get all PG all off like Vince or Triple H and cuss the crowd. He just naturally pisses you off. He's not the kind of dude you're like, I don't want to hang around this guy. He just would totally screw your night up. You know, hang out with you. He'd cop block everywhere he could do it. You know, he would just literally just do whatever he could. Now that's just the way I feel. I mean, you get that off of him. I mean, could you see yourself hanging out with this dude? I mean, knowing he is like he is and knowing how much of a prick he could be out there.
No, I end up shooting that motherfucker. Nah.
There you go. There you go.
All right. He's more of a mastermind than Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
You know, don't turn Dean Ambrose heel. But if they did, and we can make a comparison between Ambrose and Kevin Owens, and we could clearly, I'm pretty sure we could say that Kevin Owens is a far better heel than Dean Ambrose ever would be. But we don't know that because, I mean, they could turn Dean Ambrose heel, say, and he might be the hottest heel in the company. You never know. But I just don't see that. But
right.
And it's the wrong time to do that as well, you know, because he's over with the crowd.
Exactly.
But Kevin Owens is a rare find. You know, he's a rarity. And that's why, you know, people might pick on his weight or whatever, but that's because he's good and he's good, you know, because usually they don't have people like that on Raw, the husky type guys. But he's so good at what he does, they can't deny his talent. They just can't deny, you know. Right. And that's why he's one of the best heels in the company. You know, I'll be listening to his theme music doing DDP yoga, man. It's awesome. Good adrenaline. You know, I just love the heels. Him and Seth Rollins, that's my top heels of the year right there. You know?
Exactly.
I always like Seth Rollins. Everybody's like, well, we miss Seth Rollins now. I've always been a Seth Rollins fan. You know, because I always looked at it as, you know, it weren't his fault. It was the writer's fault a lot of the time. But I always thought he was a good heel, just a mid-card heel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but he come into his own when they took J and J away.
Yeah,
and that really kind of helped, you know. So I agree with you there. Well, hey, dude, let me take a break. Let me get a little something to drink. We'll pause it right here for a minute, or you can just hold the fort down. Let me go run and get something to drink, and we'll come back and finish up this. So,
well, I can't pause it. But
you can just go ahead.
What's the next match? And I'll give the audience my opinion while you're fixing something to drink.
Okay. The next matchup, since we had we split them up, is the match between the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker, and they're set to go against two members of the Wyatt family, which is listing it as Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. So that's the two that we have picked to be who they're saying is supposed to be the two members of the Wyatt family. So that's who the next matchup is. So you just go ahead and give a little bit of tidbit, and I'm just going to get a drink, and I'll be right back.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, as far as Kane, Brothers Destruction, fighting Bray Wyatt and them, you know, I really don't care to see this match. I don't. I'm a big Bray Wyatt fan. I'm just so tired of The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's played out. But the reason they're setting this up is because I feel like The Undertaker's going to retire next year at WrestleMania. You got the Hall of Fame coming up in Texas. That's where Undertaker's from. So him teaming up with Kane is a way of him saying goodbye. This is kind of like his retirement tour, you know, because, you know, he's going to team up with his brother Kane one last time, you know, because when's the last time Brothers Destruction teamed up? It's been a minute. So they're setting this up because the Undertaker's going to retire at WrestleMania, you know, and then at the Hall of Fame speech, they're going to show that last match he had with his brother, you know, tag team match, the Survivor Series. They're going to show that when they're talking about his career, you know, basically. Undertaker will be like, oh, yes, you know, I teamed up with my brother Kane one last time. Brothers of Destruction. That's all it is. It's one last run. That's why you're seeing The Undertaker on pay-per-views more often, because he's going to retire in 2016, in my opinion. That's just the way I see it. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Because you never see The Undertaker wrestle this many pay-per-views. So, like I said, they reunited him with Kane, Brothers of Destruction, to give it one last run before he retires. It's highlights for the Hall of Fame. That's all it is. It's just highlights. Now, as far as the match goes, it's the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker's debut. So, let me think. I think Brothers of Destruction are going to win that match, obviously, because Bray Wyatt, he's a great heel, but he never bites. Okay, it's like the movie Jaws. Jaws, the shark, is a villain, but why be scared of the shark if it never bites? Yeah. Bray Wyatt always loses these big-time matches, unfortunately. So he's a shark that never bites. So, and why should we be scared of Bray Wyatt because he never bites? He's a shark. He's Jaws. He never bites. You know.
Right.
So that's my thoughts about that match right there. So we're gonna get what's your opinion?
Well, I don't know how much of it you were talking about, but here's my opinion on that. I think this is I think that they should have saved, if they wanted to do an Undertaker Kane match, Brothers of Destruction reunion. They're both older, and I don't agree with Solid Monster. Solid Monster seems to think that Undertaker's got 2 more WrestleManias after this one, he could go. I don't agree with that. Even resting, I don't agree with that.
He's like I just said, you didn't hear me, but he's teaming up with Kane, Brothers of Destruction. This is a reunion because he's going into retirement. You know,
yeah.
This is highlights for his retirement speech. That's all it is. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I teamed up with my brother Kane and reunited Brothers of Destruction one last time." This is his retirement tour. That's why you see Undertaker on pay-per-views more often now, because it's his retirement tour. He's going to Hall of Fame in Texas, and that's going to be his last WrestleMania. You know, that's why he reunited with Kane. It's just highlights for the Hall of Fame. And I'm pretty sure you agree with me on that. But that's all I said, really, about it.
I mean, I understand, and I would respect that. I just think they need to do that at WrestleMania and not Survivor Series. I think, but I understand.
No, because the Undertaker's going to have he'll probably have a single match at WrestleMania.
But unless they do John Cena? I mean, who are you going to get?
They might fight the Wyatts again.
Yeah, but he's done fought Wyatt last WrestleMania.
Oh, I know what's going. Well, Kane can turn on Undertaker before WrestleMania, and it could be brother versus brother. Undertaker's last match, and he's going to fight his brother Kane. You know, that's a good way to go out. I mean, him fighting his brother Kane as the last match. But
and Kane's going to go out too.
That don't sound too good on paper, though, because we had that at WrestleMania 20. So, I don't know. I mean, if they set it up, okay, this is what they need to do. They need to do like what they did with Ric Flair. Ric Flair said, hey, if I lose one more match, I'm going to retire. They should set up Undertaker that way. Hey, if I lose, I'm done. The next match I lose, I'm going to retire. Rest in peace. But I don't know if they want the Undertaker to lose twice at WrestleMania. But they could set it up that way.
What do you think? Okay, then what do you think of Roman Reigns versus the Undertaker at WrestleMania next year?
Yeah, if Roman's a heel, sure. I can see that.
You know, I mean, would you have a problem if they quote unquote let the Undertaker pass the torch over to? Would you rather him pass the torch over to Roman Reigns as the ending match, or what about Bray Wyatt as the ending match? If they build, now not saying creative as bad as they are, yeah, I know, but see, if creative is right, you've mentioned that Bray Wyatt keeps losing. That's not his fault. They are supposed to have been passing the torch from Undertaker. He is supposed to be the new dark guy, but they keep letting him lose when it counts. So he's not going to build any reputation as someone who can be dark, that can go toe-to-toe when he's losing these big matches like this. And he cuts awesome promos. He's got it down. He can wrestle, you know, and he's not a big high flyer, so you don't have to worry about him being, you know, he's more of a mat guy, which is what the Undertaker needs, because the Undertaker ain't as fast as he used to be.
Boo. Yeah, that's true, though.
What can I say, man? That's my
I don't see it. That's a good idea, but I don't see it because Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, they fought at last year's WrestleMania. So they could have a rematch, but I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. But him passing the torch to Roman Reigns, I don't have a problem with that. I'm sick of Undertaker. When he lost, when the end of an era, WrestleMania 28, Triple H, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, end of an era. This is the last time we're going to see these guys. This is the way they were plugging it,
Right.
or promoting it, and that wasn't the case. Ever since then, I've been sick. I'm just sick of the Undertaker. I'm about as tired of the Undertaker as Kane, and I hate to say that because the Undertaker's about the only guy with any star power right now. Everybody's excited to see him, but I'm just tired of him, dude. And, you know, he needs to retire and just come back as corporate Kane, corporate Undertaker in the authority. And Kane can be casual Kane in his khakis and his Hawaiian shirt and his ukulele.
What do you feel? Did you watch that match with when Undertaker and Kane come back and jump and beat the Wyatts? Did you see that? Did you feel any different about Kane then, watching him then, than you have in the past year? Did you feel any different about Kane?
You know, but we should, but
right.
We can't because he's damaged too much.
Exactly.
Kane lost to Seth Rollins too much. Kane's like the Big Show. It's just like when they turned Big Show into this monster heel when he was fighting Brock Lesnar at Madison Square Garden on the network. You remember that?
Right.
Nobody believed that Big Show was going to win that match. And they built him up as some kind of strong heel when 2 weeks prior he lost to Dean Ambrose clean in the ring. You know, it's just it ain't the same to me. It ain't. There's too much damage there. You know. Now Undertaker could motivate Kane in storyline, like, well, Kane, you know, you ain't been that strong lately. Now you're with me. I'm gonna make you stronger because of the urn or something. I mean, they could swerve it like that. But
hashtag make Kane strong.
Kane's suddenly a badass because he's with his brother now.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
Kane's all over the place. You know, he's a comedy character. His team Hell No comedy, and then he was a jobber losing to Seth Rollins, and then he was bipolar Kane, you know, or Dr. Jekyll. You know,
that was the Abyss Kane. I call him the Abyss Kane because they had that same problem. But okay, so all right, well, I went ahead and give my picks then for the match for this match. I'll go with the obvious for this particular reason: the Undertaker and Kane going over on the Wyatt family because they've not made they've not shown me that the Wyatts pose a threat, even though they're supposed to. They've not done it yet, so I can't just say, "Well, I'm going to pull for the Wyatts because I think they can beat Undertaker and Kane." I just feel like they are not going to be able to. Not right now. They're just not dark enough and strong enough or powerful enough to do that yet. So my choice is I'm picking the Brothers of Destruction to defeat the Wyatt family.
Yeah, that's the same here because, for one thing, it's the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker. He's not going to lose that match. When The Rock defeated John Cena in Miami at WrestleMania 28, it was The Rock's hometown. He's not going to come back and lose in his hometown there. So Undertaker's not going to lose his 25th. They're booking it as the 25th anniversary of Undertaker. He's not going to lose. He's going to win. He's going to celebrate. And they're going to say the 25th year of The Undertaker, you know. And Brother Love's going to come out there. It's like, oh, I love you, Undertaker. It's been 25 years. I love you. You know, and it's going to go off there.
Red face and them glasses and that white shirt on, that white suit with the white ties up. I love you.
Yes.
I used to remember that. But what'd be cool, man, is one of these pay-per-views with the Undertaker, if it is his last farewell, he comes out as the American Badass one time. On the motorcycle. Keep rolling.
He's going to come out there on a scooter if he keeps hanging around. He's going to get so old. He's going to come out there in an electric wheelchair.
I've hurt my hip.
That's exactly right.
All right, jumping right back into it, man. Don't stray off too far. The next matchup is the other semifinal matchup for the WWE World Heavyweight Title Tournament. Semifinals match between Roman Reigns and Alberto Del Rio.
I like Alberto Del Rio. I love this new gimmick he's got. He's stronger. He's been lifting weights. He's got him a new tan. I like Alberto Del Rio, but I feel like he's not going to be a success in WWE. He's going to go back flat like he was before. But when he was in Lucha Underground, Alberto Al Patron, that was cool. You know?
Right.
He's got the look. You know, I like his style because he looks like a traditional wrestler type. You know, just the tights and the thing like that. Then he gets in the ring, he's very vicious. You know, he's my kind of guy. That's the type of wrestler I would be, I guess you could say. But obviously Roman Reigns is going to go over. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I felt like bringing Alberto in to just for Cena to lose to him cleanly within the first match of the night. It's like you said last time we talked, you know, about it. You're like, he was just ready to book his flight and get on out of there. You know, I mean, that's just what he wanted to do. I mean, he was ready to
maybe the first match, I got a plane to catch.
Yeah, he's ready to get on out of there. But I just feel like I agree with you. He had more success, and he won't be able to display what he was able to display in Lucha Underground as he is in WWE. They're going to limit him to what he can do. I do, however, agree with having Zev Coulter being his mouthpiece because, you know, I can't stand Alberto talking. I don't know about you. But
I totally agree there. He ain't got no promo skills.
I can't understand that his accent is very thick and it's hard to. You can't have time to boo him when you're trying to figure out what he's saying. You know, Zeb.
He's got everything else, but he always needs somebody to talk for him.
Exactly.
Messy American thing. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, it's stupid, but so was the Attitude Era and all their gimmicks. Al Snow and Head, you know. So they all, you know, I think the Mexican American thing, I think it's cool because it's just because it's so stupid, it's funny. Just like back in the day, it's like an Attitude Era gimmick where they you know, just it really makes no sense on paper, but it's cool when people cheer for it, like Head with Al Snow, for example. But so we're thinking what Roman Reigns will win the match, and he's gonna fight Ambrose in the main event.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
Give me your thoughts about Reigns and Ambrose, and I'm gonna take me I'll be right back in a minute. Go ahead and give your thoughts about the main event.
All right. Yeah, folks. The main event of the night will be for the WWE World Heavyweight Title matchup. As Bullet and I had discussed, you know, our picks are kind of having Roman Reigns versus Ambrose. You know, and we've kind of been very adamant about it. The way it's looking over the last few weeks, these are about the two strongest characters that WWE has. You have on one hand the guy that Vince wants to be the Golden Boy because Cena's out, and you have the other guy in the other corner that the people like. It's kind of like that corporate versus people's champion type thing, you know. And I'm not calling Ambrose the people's champion, but Ambrose has earned enough of the respect that the crowd is behind him, no matter how weak they make him or how much he's not had a whole lot of matches. Fans like Ambrose. I like Ambrose. Now, I know they tried to make him a PG Stone Cold, or tried to, and I think that was a good way to go, even though they kind of went up and down with him, you know, like a trampoline. He's been up and down, but the fans still cheer for him. I mean, it's good to have these two guys. They've always been close. What better way now can you have than have a good old heel turn? And Bull and I were talking, and to me, that's what we want. We want to have that heel turn happen. Now, it could go either way, and I'll give you both scenarios. One scenario is to turn Roman bad, turn him to a heel, let him win the championship, let him be the face of the Authority, let Triple H and them talk for him. I'm all for, like when Don Tony said, and the rest of them said, Wrestling Soup, keep Roman quiet. Let them be the mouthpiece of him. He doesn't do good promos, whether he's going to be good or bad. So I feel like he could turn a heel and give him that title for a while. Let Ambrose chase him. There's nothing wrong with it. And that's what worked with Stone Cold. Stone Cold wasn't always champion to be on top. A lot of times, to me, in my opinion, I don't know how Bullet feels about it, but to me, I always feel like it's stronger when you have the face chasing after the heel for that title. It's not as good as when you've got the face has the title, but when he's chasing after it, that's what makes it good TV. And if you turn Roman heel, give him the title, give him under the Authority, that will be a way for fans to get behind Ambrose, more fans to cheer him, because they already want to boo Roman. They just got to have that extra little to boo him. As much like with Cena. If Cena was to turn heel, he don't got much to turn. He would need to turn him heel because he's already got half the crowd against him. It's the same way with Roman, sad to say. But if you turn him heel, give him that strong, I guarantee you he will look a whole lot stronger being that heel than if he was to turn back in another face turn later on in the year next year. Ambrose, now you could have turned Ambrose heel and have Ambrose win the championship. That, that's kind of looks like it's suspect right now that they may do that, because they kind of haven't mentioned as much with Vince foreshadowing, talking about, or Triple H foreshadowing, talking about there's got to be somebody crazy enough to take me up on my offer, kind of referring to Ambrose because he's quote unquote crazy. He's the lunatic fringe. But you could turn him heel and he could win the title, and then Roman Reigns, but you still got Roman over here. He's as a face, but you still got that crowd reaction split, but turning him heel gives him that heel turn so that you can build him to be stronger. Ambrose can still have the people cheering for him, and he could still have the title or just give the title to Reigns, but make Reigns the one with the heel turn and not Ambrose, and have Ambrose, whether he comes out on top or not, he'll still have the people behind him.
I agree with you 100%. I caught what you said there. I agree with you pretty much. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's just whether he wins or loses it, dude. If he give Roman the heel turn, that's all we're asking for. I just feel like it's a bad mistake to me, in my opinion, if they turn Ambrose bad.
Nah, yeah, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. He's got momentum. If they turn Dean Ambrose heel and he fights a babyface Roman Reigns, they're still going to cheer Dean Ambrose over Roman Reigns. It ain't going to work,
And
a heel Ambrose ain't going to work against a face Reigns. It ain't going to work.
But he could go back into mediocrity.
Yeah, they're just going to boo him. So.
You don't want. I don't want Ambrose to turn back into mediocrity if they turn him bad, because then he could be a weak. If they turn Ambrose to be the heel and let Roman win the title, then they could make Ambrose kind of be a weak heel, and then he slowly fall off, and then they'll try to push Bray Wyatt and them. And the bad thing is, Roman has faced all these guys. What's going to happen if Roman gets that title, and if Ambrose isn't his opponent, isn't his rival? He's already fought these other guys on the way up to that, and he's destroyed them. That's what's wrong with Cena, dude.
It's going to be, it'd be Cena, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania. That'd be the main event if that happened.
Nobody wants to see that. No, unless it's Roman turning.
What else can they do? Because you just said he's already fought everybody, so they need a strong babyface to fight Reigns. If it ain't Ambrose, it'll probably be John Cena, unfortunately.
It's just
because Seth ain't coming back no time soon. So,
no, he's not going to be back in time for WrestleMania.
Nah. I see him making a big comeback at SummerSlam. Save him for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And
have him against the Authority. That's where you and I both don't like the Authority, and we get sick of seeing them sometimes. Yeah. But I think if they have another chance, make Roman the heel and let them praise him, them back him, let him even be dominant for a while. You remember how didn't you used to get sick of watching Triple H win every week? You knew he was gonna be the first in the show and talk, or be last of the show and talk, or he was always going to win. He never lost the title, never lost a match, nothing wrong. You remember you used to get sick of seeing that because he was so dominant? Yes. Make Roman like that a little while. Make him where he would be a little bit dominant, and I mean, not like just squashing everybody, but make him carry that on so that feud can go on for a while, And like you said, dude, even if nothing else, make it Brock versus Roman. Let Brock be the baby face. Let Roman Reigns be the strong heel that you can actually say that Roman has a good chance of beating Brock. But it's all about booking and all about creative.
Yeah, they need to build Roman Reigns up as a very dominant heel, like a Goldberg, but heel Goldberg.
Yes. Exactly.
destroy everybody, build them up, and then you have him fighting the Beast Brock at WrestleMania, and people have. Then there's that believability. Like, man, Roman is very vicious. He might be able to pull a rabbit out of his ass with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
And keep coming out the crowd. Take him from coming out the crowd.
Yeah.
That's not a heel move. That's not a heel entrance.
Right, exactly.
So,
that's true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our SummerSlam Survivor Series predictions. Do you got anything else you want to jump into, Bill? Or
I'm just saying, dude, I just hope it's a good pay-per-view, and you know, and coming off of that, you know, leading off, I just hope it's a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. The pay-per-views have been pretty good. The wrestling will be good if nothing else, you know. But very predictable show. We just got to see, except for the main event. We don't know what type of swerve, who's going to swerve who or screw who or whatever. But it'd be interesting to see how things get there, you know.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out.